What's up, y'all? Dark Show TCG here, back with another video, and today I got for you the top 5 decks going into the PRB02 mini format. These decks are listed in no particular order. I just wanted to talk about their position in the meta and what I think their matchups are going to look like into the other decks. I also plan on going over the example deck list as well as the new support from PRB2 and providing some insight as to what the new cards can do for the decks. Before we get started, I wanted to credit gumgum.gg for a few of these deck lists that I'm going to be providing here. Most of these deck lists were sourced from there in the OP12/PRB2 Eastern meta. So a few of these lists I got from there. Some CS Championship Series winning lists as well as some flagship winning lists. Without further ado, let's get into the honorable mentions. So first off, we got Mono Black Rob Lucci. In previous formats, when GP Luffy was a mainstay in the format, Lucci found success. Primarily before the inclusion of Green Zoro and UP Luffy in the format, Lucci was a solid pick as the premier removal strategy. Lucci used to be the answer to rising green decks like Bonnie, GP Luffy, Red Green Smoker, but the other meta contenders sort of pushed him out of the top spots. Every dog has his day, and while Lucci may not be top of the meta, he's worth testing into an environment where Green Purple Luffy and Red Green Smoker are expected to be on the rise. Next up is Jory Bonnie. Over here in the West, Bonnie has had a great time in post-ban, getting a few regional wins under her belt with a myriad of tops. Cards like 8-cost Mihawk, 2-cost Kyoshiro blocker, and the secret Bonnie blocker, as well as some of her starter deck cards, has bolstered up her defenses and aided in her primary game plan of slowing down the game, sticking powerful bodies, controlling the board, and amassing top end to close out the game and dome her opponents in the head with those large units. Unfortunately, her negative matchups into Blue-Purple Luffy, Lucci, Red-Green Smoker, and Green Zoro and Teach are what knocked her out of contention for one of the best decks in the coming format. I still think she is a really strong generic green leader. Her leader ability is super nutty. She also didn't get much support in PRB2. She did get a 3-cost Bonnie blocker that you can help cheat out with 8-cost Kid to help you play on curve, seeing as it gives you an active Dawn to sort of supplement your leader ability. It makes that 8-cost Kid turn a little bit less punishing to fully tap out on 9 Dawn if you took an odd curve, as well as like if you don't have a Cavendish or a Tashigi on board to keep those units floodgated and stop your opponent from removing them. Nevertheless, I think Bonnie is still a really good leader. She's been out for about 1.5 years now, and Bonnie pilots have been performing really well with the deck. So I think she's a solid pick coming up. Green cards have been getting nutty over the coming formats. I think she is pretty much here to stay in the meta. Our last leader for the honorable mentions is Marshall D. Teach. This leader received a Lucky Roo style blocker in the new 4-cost Shiryu, being able to become an 8-cost if your leader is Marshall D. Teach, as well as KOing a unit with the original 4-cost or less is an amazing anti-aggro tool, as well as a nice body to play on curve. Teach also getting a lot of cards from his starter deck. He is just a very crafty leader with a lot of open-ended deck building choices. He has overwhelmingly good matchups into Bonnie and Lucci. His Green Purple Luffy and Zoro matchups are awful. It's a little bit bad into Red Green Smoker, but it's surprisingly 50-50 into Rayleigh and UP. I do think though that seasoned Blackbeard pilots are a force to be reckoned with. This deck has some of the highest skill expression and ceilings in the game, so while a matchup may seem unfavored, a gap in pilot skill can still overcome the odds. All right, now into the top 5. Please remember, guys, that these upcoming decks are in no particular order, and then some of the lists you may see are from a time when Blue-Purple Luffy was the best deck in the format, and it didn't get the 9-cost Linlin and 8-cost Katakuri restrictions. Anyway, at number 5, we have Silver's Rayleigh. He is OP12's signature aggro deck with a leader ability that cheats additional stats every turn, an ultra consistent search engine, and powerful defensive events in Conqueror's Hockey and the occasionally ran Rad Beam. Rayleigh is the aggro deck that seems to have it all, and while Red did get new cards in PRB2, Rayleigh doesn't really make proper use of the cards. In fact, the new Red support actively counters Rayleigh's aggressive strategy of swarming the board with small bodies and buffing them. Namely, the new 4-cost Kobe excels at dealing with those bodies and is pretty annoying for the deck to deal with. Nonetheless, the deck still has a good matchup into Green Zoro, Green Purple Luffy, and Blue Purple Luffy. However, you should be on the lookout for Red Green Smoker, Teach, Bonnie, and Lucci. Seeing as they're all control decks, some of them being more board focused like Bonnie, and the other ones being hard removal like Teach and Lucci. Next up at number 4, we have one of my favorite decks, Red Green Smoker. A super welcome addition to the meta. Being a slash leader, Smoker takes advantage of the OP12 Perona Searcher, being able to search 8-cost Mihawk, 5-cost Smoker, and a new 6-cost Law. Smoker being able to run red removal with Mogun, the new 4-cost Kobe, and a leader ability that provides 2 additional Dawn allows him to have explosive turns. When it used to run 8-cost Kato is considered a viable counter to Green Purple Luffy. The large bodies and removal aspects make it a good control strategy against aggro decks like Rayleigh, and the ability to make combat math difficult for Green Zoro gives it an edge in those matchups. There are just so many good red and green cards in the game right now, and Smoker can take advantage of the majority of them. The main pitfalls of the deck are consistency and missing plays on turn and being a 4-life leader. At number 3, Blue Purple Luffy. He's back like he never left. After having a good weekend during its second week in the post-ban OP12 format, many returned to the deck and are boasting some impressive finishes. Unfortunately, the deck didn't receive any support in PRB02, but it's fine since it gives the other decks some time to catch up. That isn't to say that the deck needed any more support since it is still well represented in Top Cuts post-ban. If you are invested into this leader, I don't think it would be a bad idea to test them into the upcoming format and in some good finishes. There aren't any notable deck list changes, so we'll just have to see how the lists change in the upcoming weeks. For number 2, we have Green Purple Luffy. When I saw the amount of support that this leader got during the reveals, I thought he'd be tier 0. While I don't think we'll be entering a format similar to Prime Blue Purple Luffy or RP Law again, this leader is still nutty. At the time of this recording, Green Purple Luffy just took a win in a Barcelona Major during the OP12 format. Giving this leader an additional searcher that can proc off Trigger and 2-cost Nami, the 4-cost Zoro 2K blocker that is difficult to rest, and the 4-cost Luffy that prevents opponents from playing on curve, they all grant this leader added consistency, defense, and another disruption tool. Honestly, Green Purple Luffy didn't need to receive these buffs, and he still would have been a powerful leader, but they're welcome all the same. He has a hard time playing into Green Zoro, Rayleigh, Lucci, and Bonnie, but I think the deck has such strong turns and tools that it can still win from all of those decks. I think it is well positioned into the upcoming format, and your time invested will be rewarded. Green Zoro, the Nats winner and predicted BDIF after the Blue Purple Luffy restriction. Green Zoro is a leader many of you should be familiar with, as it was lauded to be a deck that pilots of any skill level could just pick it up and run with. However, those who have mastered the deck knows that there is a ton of nuance into actually playing it at a high level. Sure, its first few turns can be linear, but it's how you play the edge cases in the mid to late game of the deck that really position you for the win. The deck didn't really get much support from PRB02, but it already had a strong package on release. It does play the new 4-cost Zoro blocker since it's a searchable 2K and can't be easily rested. For its matchup spread, I'd say Rayleigh and Bonnie can be tough, but they are far from unwinnable. I think if you drop the deck, give another try, but respect that it isn't just going to play itself all the time. And spoilers, the deck is still a relevant threat in the OP13 format. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my view into the meta. Let me know what you guys think of the decks I listed. Let me know if you guys have any other decks that you think might be super strong and that people are sleeping on. And I'll see you guys in PRB2. Have a good one, guys.